Okay, as you can see, I have another book here. This book is Shannon Miller's autobiography. It's called It's Not About Perfect. And she is the second oldest member of the Magnificent Seven. This one. That one. Amanda Borden, team captain, was cut out of the picture for some reason. I assume that the picture, she's over here maybe, and it just got sliced by accident. Sorry, Amanda. Amanda is also cool. I talked to her a couple of times recently. She's very nice. Amanda actually had a conversation with Carly Patterson on the 20th anniversary and answered one of my questions. Anyway, if you'll notice, the top of the book is a little, it's been worn a little bit. This book sat on the shelf for a couple of years. The book was published in April 2015. And I don't read when I get home from work like some people do, because when I get home from work, I'm like this in the chair, literally, like I'm dead. And I usually read on weekends, holidays, and I had a couple of things to do, and I said, I will read the book. I will read it. And I've talked to Shannon on social media, Twitter, Facebook. She's very, very polite to me, very respectful. You can tell she cares about people and stuff like that, just like her teammates, Donnie Luciano, Amanda Borden. Those I've talked to were also very nice to me, and others, by the way. And I said, Shannon, I'm going to buy the book this year. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. I always talk, but I never lie. I'm going to buy it. So I bought it. Now, since the book was published, the top says she's the most decorated American gymnast. She has since been dethroned by Simone Biles. Here's how good Simone Biles is. Shannon had to go to 2 Olympiads to earn that title. Simone took the title from her before Rio. And she sees Simone a lot. One time she was going to get her daughter a big girl bed, and she went to pick out her daughter's mattress, and there was a post of Simone in the mattress place. Her and Simone see each other at events, wherever they go. They run into each other all the time. She has nothing but the deepest respect for Simone, because they understand that their records will be broken by the girls that grew up watching them. Actually, she was retired before Simone. She was mostly retired when Simone was born. But the girls that are coming of age admire them very much, and those are the girls that break their records. And there is a deep respect for them and the younger girls. There's no animosity, period. Okay? Now, gymnasts are fanatics. They are. And coffee over here. There's a counter at the door. Gymnasts are fanatics. And Simone is the sort that gives that sort of bad. Shannon is the sort that gives that sort of bad name. Shannon. Sorry. Most gymnasts start their training between 3 and 6 years old. Especially women. They start very young because they retire very young. So they want to get a nice career. And by the time they graduate elementary school, they've accepted the fact that their body will be destroyed by the end of 25. Even in this world, Shannon stood out as a fanatic. She wanted, and that's where the title of the book comes from. It's not about perfect. We'll get to that later. She was perfect. She had to have the perfect routine, the perfect score, the perfect pose. She wanted to win. You ever see her on the floor? When she's celebrating, she's smiling and laughing. Okay? But when she's on the floor taking care of business, she looks like she's getting ready to kill somebody. Okay, she had a very, very mean look on her. That's called the game face. Her father was also a professor of physics, and her father would do this mathematical stuff for her, okay? The trajectory of this, the weight mass index of that, all this scientific stuff of the routines. And she would rehearse, practice. The gym she primarily trained at was in about 45 minutes from her house. So as a young girl, her mother had to drive her, and then she drove herself when she got older. So imagine driving 45 minutes to get to the gym before buck crack of dawn, having your mom come home, then having your mom go back out to the gym late at night to get you, and you're saying, okay, a couple of dozen more shots at this, and then you go home late at night, and then you gotta go back and do it again the next day. She wanted it to be perfect. Okay, she was always the first one there, always the last one to leave. Her coach, Steve Nuno, he was just as fanatical as she was. Okay, and he was young and he started training. He wanted her to have the perfect routine, and she would be a little kid. She's like, okay, tell me what I did wrong. Tell me how to improve. Okay, tell me what's wrong. I want the criticism. Okay, most little girls want you to hug and kiss and tell them how wonderful they are. No, she was like, okay, tell me what I did wrong. I want to fix it. I don't want to continue that mistake. What's the mistake? How do I fix it? Let me know now. She was always very, very enthusiastic about learning her mistakes, learning from mistakes. Okay, practicing to be better. And you know, she had that determination. She wanted to win. Now, when she was getting ready for the 92 Olympics, she was just turned 15. Back then, you had to be 15 by December 31st of the Olympic year. Now they upped the age to 16. So you have to be at least 15 at this point in time, the Olympian. Doesn't matter if your birthday is before or after the Olympics, but you have to be 15 by December 31st. That's why she was competing in Barcelona in 92, and that's why Mochiano was competing in Atlanta in 96. So she's getting ready for the Olympics. She's in the gym for training. She's on the bar, and she falls. Dislocates the elbow. Oh boy. Coach runs over. Whole routine. Call the parents, rushes to the hospital, song and dance. Cast, x-ray, piece of bone had chipped off. Oh. So on the way out of the hospital, the coach says, Steve says, listen, you gotta be in the gym by tomorrow. And he was serious. And because she was as crazy as he was, she was in the gym first thing in the morning. Obviously, she wasn't putting a lot of weight on that arm, but whatever she could do with the arm still bandaged, she did it. Any choreography she could work out, any type of routine she could work without putting pressure on the arm, she did it. She had to miss a competition in France, blah blah blah. But long story short, she did make it to Barcelona. She won. Let me see the card here. 2 silver, 3 bronze in Barcelona. 5 medals. That I know. So she got 2 silver, 3 bronze in Barcelona. She wanted that gold, but she didn't get it. Ugh. So as soon as she gets off the plane from Barcelona, okay, when is Atlanta? I'm 15. I'll be 19 in Atlanta. I'm still fairly young. Start counting the days down. I'm going to Atlanta. That's how fast she wanted it. I want my gold medal. And it, now last year on YouTube, it just came up on my feed by some miracle. The entire Magnificent 7 team all-around gold medal popped up, and I was waiting for it for so long. So I sent it to all the girls, and I sat down and watched it on the 20th anniversary. And there was a little fluff in there. I'm going to put a link to the fluff below. A fluff about Shannon. They were like, oh, poor little, it was a little video of her in the gym. Oh, poor little Shannon Miller. She just made it. Oh, she just missed. Oh, will poor little Shannon Miller ever get gold? And I even said to her, I said, Shannon, this is even by my standards. It's an inside joke, you'll hear it later. So, that night, her team won gold. She got her first gold medal. Add to the 5 she got in Barcelona, the bronze and the silver. Now she's got gold. The teams break off, and they do the individual routines. She gets gold on balance beam. And she's about to retire. She did do a couple little routines here and there in a couple of competitions, nothing major. And she did, her Mochiano and Dawes tried to come back for Sydney in 2000. Now, of the Magnificent 7, Shannon herself, Kerry Strug, and Dominique Dawes were in 92 and 96. Dawes, Mochiano, and Miller herself tried to go to Sydney. Dawes made it. Mochiano and Miller each had respective knee problems, and they could not make it. So that was pretty much it for the career. She has participated in almost every Olympiad except one as a commentator. So you go turn the Olympics, especially the gymnastics portion of the Olympics, she'll be commenting, she'll be interviewing, she'll be, she's still active in the sport. Okay? She settled down into a marriage very early in life. The entire Magnificent Seven was in her bridal party. I remember the pictures on some of her older websites back in the day. The wedding looked like a royal wedding. That's how big it was. A fantastic wedding, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And didn't work out. Nothing wrong with her husband. Nothing wrong with her. They seem like nice people, but, it didn't work out. Nothing personal. And I imagine if she saw the guy tomorrow, she would say hi to him. Things happen sometimes. And that's the way it is. I forgot one thing. I'm going to go back from it. When she tried to go to 96, the Olympics, she had hurt her tendon in her arm. Very bad tendon. I heard a commentator say while she was on the floor in Atlanta that she had a shot of 100% cortisone. Cortisone is a painkiller / miracle drug. Doctors usually try to dilute it, but 100% is pretty powerful. My father, before I was born, had a 100% cortisone shot in his back, and that's how I remember her with the wrist. She doesn't say that in the book, though, the cortisone. But she was doing therapy, treating, trying to get her wrist back in shape. Back then, the Olympic team was picked by two scores. You had the score at the US championship, and the score at the Olympic trials. Added together, top 7 girls went to the Olympics. She's got the wrist problem. Mochiano has the fractured tibia in her right leg. And her and Mochiano did good at the championships. And they said, we can't do the trials. So they petitioned the powers that be to allow them to multiply their championship scores. And they sat out at the Olympic trials. And there's a very famous video of them sitting together in the stands. And when they realized that their scores held up, it was their champion score multiplied by 2. And the other 5 girls, the champion score plus the trials. And that was the 7 girls. I forgot to mention a little tidbit. So she had to compete with the stretched out wrist. Okay, it was very, very painful for her. Also Mochiano with the tibia. But, they may be small, but they're not fairy princesses, put it that way. I forgot about that. Sorry, Shannon. So, that was 96. 2000. She couldn't make the Olympics. Married, divorced suddenly. Nothing personal with either one of them. She goes to Boston Law School. Now, I have a cousin of mine who went to Boston College, and his father studied law at Boston, and his late grandfather studied law at Boston. The 2 older guys are too old for her, and my cousin is too young for her, so they don't know each other, but she went to Boston College to study law. She got into commenting, she got into television, all this stuff, motivational speaking. She very much wanted to participate in her sport. And she's always like this sort of a den mother, because the women in the sport have unparalleled respect for the later generation. Okay? The respect they have for the generation before is just so deep, it's not even close to funny. Okay? They go to each other's weddings. Dominique Mochiano's godmother is Nadia Comaneci. Okay? So they have very, very deep respect. And she always admired that because she got to watch the younger kids follow in her footsteps. And she got to comment on how wonderful they were. And they got to meet the great one. She's this all-inspiring greatest of all time in American history. So they got to have that great honor for them. And then time goes by, she meets a Florida businessman. And she marries the Florida businessman. John, his name is. Now this is John. Yeah. She marries a Florida businessman. This marriage works out a lot better for her. They have a son named Rocco, and it was great-grandfather. She's always big onto health. She's always telling women, go to your doctors, go to your appointments, do this, do that. Don't postpone your doctor's appointments. And she has her son. She wants to have a daughter. She was going to postpone her gynecologist appointment, but she didn't. Thank God. She was like one step shy of postponing it. It's like, no, I'll come in. She tells the gynecologist, listen, I want to have a second baby. Just give me a routine rundown, make sure I'm okay. Okay. Right ovary. A cyst the size of a baseball. Okay. Let's watch it. Let's wait 4 to 6 weeks. It's okay. It's probably not a big deal. You'll be fine. Okay. Second opinion. Second opinion. Let's watch it. Let's wait 4 to 6 weeks. And okay. Third opinion. Her mother had just had cervical cancer the year before. So now she's getting worried. Goes to a third doctor, Dr. Buckley, his name is. When are you available for surgery? He was so like, surgery now, surgery. He would have given her the surgery in the office right then and there if he could. But when you go through surgery, you gotta have blood work, make sure you don't have AIDS, you gotta have a couple other tests done, make sure you're okay to survive the surgery. It's like, we have to have surgery right now. We're doing surgery now. No, we're doing surgery. Whoa. Okay. I'm not a doctor, but I know that when you have a baseball sitting on a vital organ, it doesn't need to be there. Okay, that much I know about medical science. So they prepare for the surgery, blah, 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 blah. So get ready to go into surgery. I know you want to have another child. If I go in there and I see something bad, do I have your permission to take out both ovaries? Huh? Yeah, you gotta tell me now. What? Yeah, you gotta make a decision now. If I see both ovaries are gone, I gotta take them both out. Do I have your permission to do it? Okay, because a lot of doctors are like, okay, I'll go inside, I'll check it out, I'll take notes, I'll revive her, and then I'll ask you, what do you want to do? And I'll go in for a second time. This guy was like, what are we gonna do now? Okay, I'm going in there. If I gotta take them both out, do I do it? Yes or no? Tell me now. Whoa. Talk about being a fanatic. Do whatever. Okay. Put her under. Go in. Right ovary, destroyed. Right fallopian tube, destroyed. Pulls it out. Left fallopian tube, left ovary, still good. Leave him alone. Now onto the baseball. He sees it. He wakes her up. Cancer. You've got cancer. It's this type of tumor. It affects X amount of women. Blah, blah, blah. This is 2011. She's 31. No, this is 2011. She's 34. She's 34 then. 2011. Sorry. Anyway, she's actually a little older than most when they get this kind of cancer. We gotta get rid of it. 9 weeks of chemo. What? 9 weeks of chemo. He talked to a friend of his in Harvard, a friend of his in Maryland. They worked out a plan. 9 weeks of chemo. Oh boy. So she goes to do chemotherapy, and the place is nice and inspiring. Okay, lights, sunlight, comfortable chairs, friendly staff. They try to make it look as nice as possible because it's a very scary thing already, so you might as well try to be nice to them. But even though the atmosphere is nice, she's still going through chemo. She had done a head shaving party because she realized if I'm going to lose my hair, I might as well take it off myself. Head shaving party video is on YouTube. I'll put it below if I can. So she goes through 9 weeks of chemo. Horrible. Weight loss, hair loss, vomiting. She can't keep water in her body. Horrible, horrible, painful time of her life. You know, am I going to die? And that's why the title is It's Not About Perfect. She didn't know, you know, when she's on the podium, when she's training for gymnastics, blah, blah, blah. I have to be perfect. I have to be on the top of the podium. I got to win. I got to get a gold medal. Okay. But if I don't win, I can come back next year. I can do the next competition next month. Second place is still good sometimes. But now she realizes there's no second place. I got cancer. I'm either going to win or I'm going to die. And she's having these horrible thoughts. Is my son going to be without a mother? Is my husband going to be widowed? These are horrible things that go through your mind. And she doesn't know. When she gets up, she can't go to the bathroom by herself. She can't walk on the table by herself. She can get dressed by herself. She's very, very weak physically. She's at her lowest point in life. And after 9 weeks of chemo, she survives. And then she does her routine checkups and stuff like that. And 6 months, at the 6-month point, Dr. Buckley said, "You're good. You got to come back every couple months for the rest of your life and do testing and pap smear and blood work and x-ray and CAT scan, but for the most part you're okay. You want to have your baby again. You want to have your second baby, okay. You got the left fallopian tube, left ovary, let's see how they work. Pregnant." And she gives birth to her baby Sterling. Sterling is a girl. Named after her other great-grandfather, but Sterling is a girl. And that's it. She was supposed to die. She was supposed to lose her ovaries entirely. And here she is, a survivor with a newborn baby. Don't forget, breast cancer is horrible. I had a cousin die from breast cancer at 37. But women can survive with one breast. Women can survive with no breasts if they make it, if they can get through the treatments. But the ovaries, the fallopian tubes, that is life itself, okay? Women need their ovaries and their fallopian tubes to give birth, okay? To give life, okay? So the cancer attacked life itself. The cancer didn't just attack her. It attacked her ability to be a woman. And she was able to overcome that. And she was able to have her baby, and this beautiful young girl is able to live because her mother survived. And I get choked up thinking about it all the time. I when she posts pictures of her daughter, I cry. I'm not even gonna lie. I go on Facebook, Twitter, and I see a picture of her daughter on her page, and I just start crying. This little girl was not supposed to exist. She was not supposed to live at all. And yet, here she is in the world. She survived. She came into the world. And I said to her, I said, "Shannon, God saved you for a reason." I said, nothing just happens. Nothing is random. God saved you. And then I also said, I think your daughter is important. Because you were supposed to die, and your daughter wasn't even supposed to exist. But you're still alive, and your daughter is here with us. And I said, your daughter is important. Your daughter is going to do something. I don't know what she's going to do, but her daughter is going to do something important. Now, Shannon's birthday is March 10th, 1977. And my birthday is March 10th of 1982. We have the same birthday. In fact, I actually told her that this book was I said, it's our birthday. I said, I'm buying the book for our birthday. And I told her that several times. So when she signed it for me, she signed the card too. A little card here with her social media on her. That's her at Atlanta. That's her now. And when she signed the card for me, when she signed the book itself for me, to Vinny, happy birthday, Shannon Miller. Best birthday gift I've ever gotten. From someone I respect very much. Now, we have a thing we do. Oh, I do it. Because we're 5 years apart, every birthday without fail, I go out of my way to be rude. I usually take a jab at her for being old or whatever. I always say something really funny and really rude on her birthday. It's a thing I do, and it's hilarious. She obviously doesn't take it personal, otherwise she would have put a dead rat in the box with the thing. And she knows I'm joking. But every birthday, I always take a quick jab at her for being older than me. I remind her that I'm younger than she is. But I'm always cool about it because she posts pictures online, and I make fun of myself too. I always say, you know, I may be younger than you, but you're a lot better looking than I am. Or I may be younger than you, but you're in a little better shape than I am. So I always try to let her know that, no, older isn't always worse. I said, you know, so we share our birthday with Chuck Norris, and I told her one time, I said, we're protected by the power of Chuck's awesomeness. I actually said it to her, literally. And it's always a laugh. I'm always willing to poke fun at her. Today, she's always been giving back. In 1995, when she was graduating high school, she was in high school, a teacher of hers had cancer, leukemia. And her and this teacher had butt heads a couple times, but they did like each other deep down, even though they had a little couple of disagreements here and there. They did like each other a lot. And she got some of her friends in the sports world, you know, other sports outside of gymnastics, to give her memorabilia, autographs, stuff, you know, stuff for her to auction off. And she went to her gym and she held an auction for him to raise money, you know, sell the memorabilia and raise money for his treatments and stuff. And 5 days after the auction, he was gone. But her heart was still in the right place. As bad as that was, losing him like that, she's very upset about that even today. Her heart was still in the right place. When the Oklahoma City bombing happened, because she was born in Missouri, raised in Oklahoma, lives in Florida now with her family. When the Oklahoma City bombing happened, her mom was very close proximity. And keep in mind, my family was where the World Trade Center was on 9/11. She immediately started helping rescue workers, you know, get bottled water and other things for the rescue workers at that ground zero site for that particular attack. So she was always, even before the cancer, she was always willing to give back. Today, she's on YouTube a lot. She does a lot of tutorials. She can't really make a lot of the moves herself anymore. So she has her younger friends come on, which is a great honor for them. And she has her younger friends help her do the routines and help her do tutorials for young girls. Most of the tutoring is basic moves and basic skills aimed at girls that are, you know, 7, 8 years old. That's who she's aiming it at. The older girls know a little bit more than that, so she's aiming her basic skills for the young girls. And it's a good thing for the young kids to look on YouTube and see her when they couldn't do that years ago. Don't forget, years ago, 25, 30 years ago, you wanted to get a lesson from a gymnast. He or she had to come to your gym personally. Now she goes on YouTube, does the video, leaves it behind, and kids can look at it after we're all dead. So she does a lot of health and fitness things, healthy living, healthy eating. Okay, she does a little bit of exercise videos. She has these 10-minute videos where she talks about a lot of people, especially young mothers. They can't always get out of the house to go to the gym. So 10-minute tutorials will focus on legs today or arms tomorrow, whatever. There's one video where she's doing the kicks. She's trying to get the kicks up, and she can't get the kick high enough. So I said, Shannon, pretend it's our birthday and I'm standing in front of you, get that kick up. So I always, and she's good. She can hold a plank longer than I can. Okay, so she's pretty healthy for someone that's been through that much, you know, pain through injuries and cancer and giving birth to children. She's still very healthy for that. And she doesn't take a minute for granted at all. Never. She gets up every day and says, God, thank you for me still being here. I wish Vinny would shut up every once in a while, but thank you, God, for me being here. But she's always thankful for God. She's always thankful for life. Okay, and she always I'm gonna get choked up now. She goes to cancer institutions and she gives speeches about cancer survival and cancer awareness, early detection, and I've seen pictures of her. I'm not even joking when I say this. She's actually gone and sat down with women that are going through chemotherapy and held their hands. And I say, you know what? You're the bravest woman I've ever called an old lady. I had to say that because if I said it, I would have started crying. I said, you're the bravest woman I've ever called an old lady. You're the bravest woman I've ever teased. You're the bravest woman. You know, I always let her know that she's great, and that I always let her know that, you know, I appreciate. You know, I said, I wish that, you know, if I ever have to go through this, I hope I don't, but if I have to go through it, I hope I'm good. I'm as brave as you. 2 years ago, 2 birthdays ago, it was February 2015, I think, before the book was published. I took a picture of her. She has her own line of things, you know, clothing, leotards, gear, a lot of gymnast type of stuff. And she has her own custom gym mat. And there's a picture of her sitting on the gym mat. She's a couple years old. Bold as a cucumber. She's smiling, so that tells me she's just getting to the point where she thinks she might survive the cancer. She's at the point where survival is likely. So she's smiling, bold as hell though. And she's trying to look funny, trying to look optimistic. And I took it and I memed it. And I memed it, I said, Cher's birthday with Chuck Norris, survives ovarian cancer. And I sent it to her. And last month, I went into my archives and I got it again. Because she was posting about cancer. There was a picture of her when she was bald with the rag on her head, you know, going through chemo, blah, blah, blah. And I posted it up on her, on Respond, and she actually liked it. And I said, remember that birthday I was not a total jerk? And I said, you're a brave woman. And I said, this is coming from a guy that ran in front of a SUV to protect a pregnant woman. She knows about that story. She also knows about me almost dying at birth. You know, we both owe our lives to a gynecologist for one reason or another. On our birthday, 2015, on our birthday, the pregnant woman from, I see the pregnant woman again. Obviously, she's had the baby, she's in the baby carriage, and it's our birthday. And I'm telling this woman about how I survived my own birth. And that's when she realized why I did what I did to protect her and her baby. And later that day, I came back from break. I came back 5 minutes early, as usual. And she's in the road on the opposite side, and a car is getting ready to sideswipe her in the baby carriage. And I yelled out a warning, and she had to stop and avoid being hit by the car. So, yeah. Same woman, same baby, only this time he's out of the womb, the baby. So that was our birthday in 2015. So it's always something that happens on our birthday. And, yeah, and I shared a lot of stories with her. She doesn't always respond because, you know, busy and stuff like that, but my cousin had a liver transplant. I told her about that. A friend of mine from high school who had a bone marrow transplant last year, he survived. I told her about that. I told her about my mold. Now, I'm going to give you an interesting story. In 2002, I had my ankle fixed, my ankle surgery. And I got this big cast on my leg. And my mom's looking at a magazine and says, you got to get your moles checked. You have to get your moles checked. Go to the dermatologist and get the damn things checked. Fine. Cast comes off. I go to the dermatologist. He looks me over. He finds 2 marks on my chest. These are all good. These are all good. These are all good. I don't like these. Get them off. Little shot, little burn. Cut them off. Biopsy. They're fine. And I go see him every couple of years, every year or so. And we're actually talking about Shannon one time for some reason. Anyway. We actually didn't talk about the cancer, talking about being a gymnast. So, a couple of years go by, and I'm busy with school, back in school with my bachelor's degree, and I haven't been to the dermatologist in a couple of years. I'll go later. My parents are going to my sister's house in New Jersey, and I'm staying home studying for finals. Now, when my first niece was a baby, she's 22 now, my sister's mother-in-law invited the family to take over her house. She was widowed. Her husband died when my brother was a young kid with leukemia. She's widowed and she gets this big-ass house. Okay. I want you to take over the house for your family. You know, my sister, my brother-in-law, my older niece, and they were followed by a younger niece and a nephew. Okay. Now, you know how the garage is attached to the house? You have the house here and the garage here. It's attached physically. They did a couple renovations. The garage was here, and the second floor stopped here. They went above the garage, attached to the house, blended seamlessly, on an apartment for her. She has her own kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, little living room area. Sliding glass door goes to a balcony, which goes down to the main deck by a staircase. She has a door attached to the second floor of the house, so she's attached to the house completely, and she lives there for a long time. 2010, I'm home studying for finals. I get a call from my mother. They just took Marion out in an ambulance. Oh Christ, what happened? She's sick. Go to the hospital. She's got cancer everywhere. Everywhere cancer. We think that the doctor may have found the cancer, and she may have sworn the doctor to secrecy. Because if you swear your doctor to secrecy, your doctor cannot tell anyone. Your doctor has to keep that oath. And cancer everywhere, blah blah blah. She's not gonna make it. That next month, my cousin is getting married. My brother-in-law and sister might not come to the wedding because his mother is still on her deathbed. She passes away. They end up making it to the wedding. They say, you know what, we're not going to sit in the house. Let's go to the wedding. They go to the wedding. So one day we had the wedding. The next day we had the funeral for the mother-in-law. Now, in our tradition, you have the funeral home. And you go to the funeral home one night. And the person lays in the casket. The casket is open so you can see their face most of the time. And anyone who knew them can come and pay respect. For those of you who don't know how we work at funerals. The next day, we come back in the morning. And the priest comes, and the priest offers up prayers, close the casket, go to the church, have a mass, and then go and put the person to rest. We're waiting for the priest to come for the burial part. My brother-in-law has a fraternal twin brother. He's got a band-aid on his head. I saw David before, obviously, but he got a band-aid on his head. Okay. And he had a growth on his head, and it was cancerous, and was taken off in time. I called my dermatologist from the lobby of the funeral home, and I said, put me down, I'm coming in. And I went in, got checked out, and I told him about the mother-in-law. I told him about my brother-in-law's twin brother. I said, you know, they had a couple of scares. Mother-in-law's dead. Brother-in-law's brother had a problem here, so I said, and I have not missed an appointment since. I've been back there every year. Now, he retired, the dermatologist. He was over 80, 49 years experience. He retired. Sold to a new guy. The new guy looks at my file. Hi, Vincent, blah, blah, blah. You had two moderate risks removed. What? In 2002. Yeah, those two things in my chest, they're removed. They're moderate risk. What do you moderate? Okay. One is benign. All of the stuff you see here is one. Even this thing here. Even this one. One is benign. Two is mild risk. Three is moderate risk. Severe risk. Pre-cancer. Cancer. And he looked me over, all my body, looked my damn socks off, all my whole body. You're clean. I said to him, listen very carefully. The minute one of these things hits two, it comes off. I don't want to know nothing. I said, I'm not taking a chance here. The minute it hits two, I want it off. If it goes to two, it doesn't belong there, get it off right away. I'm not taking chances. Few years before that, you know, my nephews, my brother's kids were a little younger. My sister-in-law had a lump in her throat. Doctor, let's wait a couple of months to see if it goes down. My brother said, put it in the car, took it to Sloan Kettering. It was thyroid cancer, took it out. Okay? And the moral of Shannon's story is always go to your exams. Go to your mammograms. Go to your pap smears. If you have a special problem with your heart or with your moles, get that taken care of, okay? That is the moral of her story. That's the message she wants to send out. Get it taken care of now. Because if she didn't go for her gynecologist appointment, it would have spread. And if it spread to the second tube, she would have had no daughter. And if it spread beyond that, she would have died. And when the doctor said, let's wait, let's sit, let's relax, take a deep breath, she said, no, I'm going somewhere else. And she got and walked out, and she went to a third dermatologist, the third gynecologist. And the third gynecologist was the one that said, let's get it out. He was the one, Dr. Buckley. Okay, he saved her life. Okay, she would be dead. God, if it had not been for Dr. Buckley, this book wouldn't be here on my desk right now. Okay, God bless that man because he saved her life. And that's the moral of the story. Now, our birthday is sacred to us for a lot of reasons. But there are three things about our birthday that bother me. First, March 10th, 1977. The day she was born was the day Roman Polanski raped the girl at Jack Nicholson's house. Okay, that's truth. Also, we share our birthday with Osama bin Laden, which I don't really like. But the thing that disturbs me most about our birthday, which I found out last year on our birthday is Abortion Providers Appreciation Day. Remember my cousin's friend, the one that was at the Women's March with the derogatory poster? That's the same cousin that delivered. Yes, okay. On my cousin's Facebook page, you know how you go to your friends' Facebook pages and you look at one of their friends, or you look at one of their friends and you want to see if you know anybody here, or anybody here. On my cousin's Facebook page, and I see our friend that would be at the Women's March this year, the friend that was the ultra liberal, yeah, she's the one that was at our great grandmother's birthday party, yeah. And I just click on her page. March 10th, our birthday. Abortion Providers Appreciation Day. Now, I sent her a direct message on Facebook. And I normally don't get involved in things, I normally leave people alone, but I wanted to voice my opinion now. I said, I want you to know that I'm very disturbed at whoever the hell it is made my birthday Abortion Providers Appreciation Day. And I said, I've saved at least 9 lives. It's 10 now, but I've saved at least 9 lives. And if I wasn't born, if I was aborted, what would have happened to those babies, to those people, to most of them kids? At the time it was like 4 women, I think. Right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. At the time, 4. It was 9 people, 4 were women at the time. 4 were young girls or babies. Okay. If I had died, if I had been aborted, what would have happened? And remember, let's be at the first birthday, March 10th, 1982. Well, people are appreciating their abortion doctor. My mother's gynecologist was trying to save my life. Okay, my mother's gynecologist saved my life, and I saved at least. Now it's 10. Back then it was 9. Now it's 10. And I got very upset about that. And then I started telling her about her friend, my cousin, Kelly, her name is. I said, Kelly had liver failure. What if her doctor was aborted? Don't forget, my cousin Kelly, she was in the hospital. Remember I said, get a second opinion? Shannon, get a second opinion? The doctor said, your liver's failing, you're going to die, plan the funeral. You got 40 hours to live. Our ex-cousin-in-law was a nurse, called her friend the doctor in the Bronx, and the doctor in the Bronx said, I'll take her in. And he's the one that got her liver and got and saved her life. If he was aborted, she would have been dead. Kelly's father, Vietnam veteran, 2 Bronze Stars with Valor. First Bronze Star with Valor, saving the lives of 3 men behind enemy lines. What would have happened if he was aborted? Those 3 guys would have died. And not only would those 3 guys have died, guys from the search party come and look for their bodies might have died. Because in Vietnam, when 3 guys went missing behind enemy lines, they sent out a search party. And a lot of times, guys in the search party died. Or guys in the search party got captured. Okay? So it's not just the 3 men he saved, it's the guys that didn't have to go after them. So that's what disturbed me about our birthday. Our birthday is sacred to us. Because we've had our problems. I almost died at birth. She almost died of ovarian cancer. And our birthday is a solemn reminder of how precious life is. And I was disgusted and revolted that our sacred day would be Abortion Providers Appreciation Day, while Shannon and I are appreciating life itself on our birthday. You're appreciating guys that take babies' lives? Well, it is a good book. You order it from her personally. You can get it signed. That's how I got it from her personal shop. This actually could have been in her house. She has these at the house and at the office, so this could have been in her house for a couple years. But I got it personalized. I'm very happy for it. Even though she was a opponent of / teammate of Donnie Mochiano, who was my favorite of all time. In fact, the day I got this in the mail, her, Mochiano, and Dawes were with the Ham twins in LA filming a Family Feud episode for charity. And her and Mochiano, they say teammate and friend. So her friend is my favorite gymnast. So I can like them both. You know, it's kind of like Marvel in DC, okay, or Glock in 1911. You can like them both. So I like them both. Okay, thank you.